me, Brianka J, and I'm back with another episode of Book Talk. This is the place where we talk all things books, so that's literary theory, analysis, short stories. If it's in a book, we're going to talk about it. So, if that's something that you like, then you're going to love this channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe right away. If you have been here before, then of course, welcome back and thank you for coming. We're going to talk about James. Now, I did say I wanted to do a few videos where we got into some of the nitty gritty of this book, and that's what this video is about. So, spoilers ahead. My first issue, well, not even my first, but my biggest, I guess, would be in chapter 9. And it's a short chapter, so it's part 2, chapter 9. Very short chapter, so bear with me.
The whole room began to shake and rattle. Aside from the boiler noise, there was a hum that was more felt than heard. The bell rang not 4 but 6 or 7 times. I walked back to Brock. Norman followed me. Brock still shoveled furiously. "What does 7 bells mean?" I asked. "I don't know," he said. "It ain't never rang but 4 times 4. I ain't know what 7 bells be meaning." "Why is it going so fast?" Norman asked. "He's crazy," I said. Brock stopped his work. "Why for you be talking like that to that white man? I knew something was off. You ain't his slave." "I'm not a white man," Norman said. Brock's face went blank. "What's that?" "I was sorry," Norman had said that. "Settle down, Brock. Everything is all right." "You still doing it?" "I'm not white," Norman repeated. It was then that the rattling of the room got exponentially worse. The boiler screamed even higher. The pipes hissed. The shaft looked like it was buckling. A rivet popped from somewhere and hit the wall just behind Norman. Could have killed him. "Jesus," Norman said, ducking and looking for the next one. Brock turned and looked at the engine. The drive shaft seized and stopped moving altogether. Brock turned and looked at us with a fear I had never seen on any man, white, black, free, or slave. "Shit," he said. The next thing I knew, I was coming to in the freezing water. Drowning was a terrible but effective way to come to my senses. This guy told me it was dawn, but that hardly mattered. I was surrounded by planks and trunks and chairs and screaming, crying men and women. Heads bobbed everywhere. A man floated into me. I pushed him away. A woman's lifeless face bumped into my shoulder. She looked like she was smiling. "Norman," I called out. I studied the eyes, the mouths, dead and alive, trying to find my friend. People disappeared under the water and never came back up. The shore was about 100 yards away, perhaps more. "Norman!" I felt what might have been a hand grab my foot, and then the pressure was gone. "Jim!" A voice called out to me. I searched the floating planks, the furniture, realizing that my shoulder was badly burned. The scars on my back felt as if they'd opened wide again. Then I saw him. Norman was perhaps 30 yards from me, bobbing in and out of view. He clung to a small section of plank. He struggled to keep his head above the surface. He called to me again, trying to wave to me. He was trying to find something big enough to cling to. He could see me seeing him, and I saw relief flash across his terrified face. "Jim!" Another voice called to me. A higher voice. The voice was familiar. I found Huck's face. He was treading water. His forehead was red with blood. He was also perhaps 30 yards from me. They both called to me, one and then the other. They were equidistant from me, but not near each other. I felt I was in some poor philosopher's example. Huck slipped under and came back up, slapping the water. Norman struggled with his plank. I was frozen there, moving in neither direction, but needing to choose one. The air was filled with screams, shouts, cries, but I could hear only 2 sounds clearly. 2 voices calling my name. Part 3. Chapter 1. I dragged his body onto the beach by the seat of his breeches. I was exhausted, spent, and he was barely conscious, but he was alive. He coughed up some water but remained face down in the sand. "You be all right?" I asked. "I ain't dead." I patted his leg, fell onto my back, looked at the bright blue sky. "Jim?"
made me so irritated. Just, because let's talk about it, because let's really dig into the tea. So we have James. First of all, put some respect on this man's name. He keeps saying his name James, and Huck just keep calling him Jim, and I don't understand. Okay, so we have James. He is in this steamboat. The steamboat boat sinks. The reason Norman is in the steamboat with James is because James told him that that was a good idea. Norman would have never ever put himself in a position to be on that steamboat. Norman also told him he was very, very much afraid of drowning, could not swim. Norman had saved James' life I would say almost 3 times by this point. He helped him escape the minstrel show. He helped him escape. They sold him into slavery to get some money. He helped him escape that slavery. And then they get on this steamboat, and he helps him navigate this steamboat with this man who was very much happy to be a slave and prepared to rat him out. Norman's ability to pass for white has been an incredible power for these two men. Also, they are bonded like brothers, I would at least say, because of their shared issue of being runaways. These men are bonded like brothers. Norman has not betrayed James one time since meeting James. He has always shown this man great respect. He has shown him honor, dignity, and integrity from day one. This was not a relationship where respect was earned, where trust was, given over time. Norman immediately told him an incredible secret about his life. Like, he never ever had to share with James that he was even passing. Like, that is an incredible, dangerous issue, because what if James rats him out? What if this gets out? He doesn't know who to trust, yet he trusts James with his life. So that's the story of Norman. Then you have this child, Huck. Huck is not really helpful to James the way that Norman is. Huck is there, but Huck needs guidance. Huck needs leadership. James has to pretend to be naive and unaware and simpleton in order to continue to work with Huck. He's still, even though Huckleberry is a child, he is still very much in a position of acting the slave in Huck's presence. So now you have these two men in the water. Huck one side, Norman the other. James says he has to make a decision on who to save. For the life of me, I would have never saved Huckleberry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And yes, I know we've all read the book. If you're here, it's because you read the book, so don't get in the comments telling me I spoiled it. That means you're aware that he says that he saved Huckleberry because he was Huckleberry's daddy. Baby, somebody pour me a drink. Buy me a drink. Oh. Because I'm going to need one for this book. What are you talking about? First of all, the relationship that Norman and James share is stronger than any relationship that James could ever have with Huck, whether they were blood related or not. Because of the conditions of James' life, being an enslaved man, meaning he had to buy his freedom, meaning he had to lower his intellect, play the simpleton, play the lunatic, play the fool, in order to survive, be lashed, be beaten. Huckleberry has watched this man be beaten and lashed and humiliated and sold and treated terribly. He had looked on while people said, I own you. Huckleberry will never, ever, ever understand James the way that Norman did. Huckleberry will never have the integrity and dignity to help James the way that Norman did. Huckleberry's life, like, he probably would have made it out that river. He's an 11-year-old white boy. Somebody would have felt the need to drag him out the river. That didn't necessarily have to be James. And honestly, if they didn't drag him out the river, Would I have cared? No. No. And I'm sorry, that sounds harsh. But we also have James here saying he didn't care about the fate of any of those white people whom died in that river in that whole time. So why then did he feel the need to care about Huckleberry so much? He's like, I'm your father. First of all, there's no way to know that. You don't know who that lady was sleeping with. Mama's baby daddy's maybe. You don't know how many slave men she had been laying up with on that plantation or on not on that plantation. You are not sure of the paternity of that little boy. What you do know is that you have a trusted companion in Norman who can help you get into places and navigate spaces that you were never going to have access to working with Huckleberry. For your life and your safety and your ability, I would have saved Norman 10 times over. That's just me. That's just me. I just, the whole point of like, oh, I'm Huckleberry, I'm your father. What kind of Star Wars Darth Vader turn of events was that? And then after I saved the boy, I felt like I would have wanted to drown the boy again, because the next thing you know, he talking like I'm the nigga now, Jim. If I'm your boy, that means I'm the nigga too. If I'm your boy, that means I'm the slave too. So I got to talk like this and walk like that. How insulting. I have just revealed to you, not only am your father, that I am not the simpleton that I've made myself out to be. I can read and write, and I am much more intellectually suited than you are. And you have the audacity to try to emulate code switching. The disrespect, the mockery, the minstrelsy that you have immediately put on after I saved your life, and you are so ignorant to the fact that you're disrespecting me, you think that it's almost endearing. That was my biggest point to be made about that. I just had to come here and share that with you, because I was just like, how, why, for what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. That was my biggest issue with the book. That is one of the spoilers I want to talk about. The other one came towards the ending. Okay, so them burning down a plantation. I felt like that was closer to the Haiti Revolution, and then it was a Germantown Revolution, very similar, where they go and burn down the plantations around them, gathering and freeing more slaves as they can, or more enslaved men, let me say that, as they go and attain freedom. So that was something I was like, he kind of picked out of history for. So yeah, but the ending, it just wasn't plausible that they just walked into town. He saved his wife, he saved his child, he's living and breathing, and he was able to just walk into town after killing Judge Thatcher, after killing Overseer Hopkins, after burning down a plantation, after being wanted for murder. His pictures all plastered all over the Mississippi River, all the way down. And you're telling me he was able to just walk into town? Somebody give me a V8. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Do you know what they did to Nat Turner upon his capturing? They ate him. They ate him. Literally. Literally ate his body. Do you know that it was very common during lynchings for people to take souvenirs of the body, including their genitalia? Their teeth. Do you know that they tarred and feathered people? Like, do you know just how difficult the life of an enslaved man, especially after running away, how much they were willing to make an example of this man, woman, or child, and the things that they would do, not even after slavery. Once we got to Jim Crow and Reconstruction, did you know how quickly they were willing to make an example of a black person for even looking at a white woman, to even look their way. And that's another thing. If James was so intellectual and he knew that he didn't even have the right to call a white woman beautiful or pretty to an 11-year-old boy, you're telling me that he wasn't wise enough to know that he wasn't able to sleep with this woman? That he didn't know the boundaries that he would be breaking and sleeping with this woman? That he would take that risk? It's just simply not plausible. It was just one of those plot holes that just, uh, no. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary telling. I was like, I guess he had to figure out a way to get rid of Norman, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about. But when I tell you, baby, it rubbed me wrong. The Aunt Huckleberry Father Star Wars trope, and the idea of they just walked into a free town. When in the book, throughout the book, we're told that a slave is everywhere and nowhere at once. That to be a slave, whether you're in a free town or a slave holding state, it simply doesn't matter because your life is embodied in the action of being enslaved your whole life. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. And he's telling us, like, even if you're in Illinois, the white people will tell you you're in Tennessee. So they were always moving the goalposts for these people. So what is the likelihood of them walking into a free town and them not asking them, where are your papers? That's just where I sit with things, and I'm absolutely open to having this to be a discussion. No, in no way do I know everything. Please, if you have some insights or some details that I missed that could clear up some of my issues with the work, share them. Absolutely share them. Let's make this a more of a discussion than simply me ranting and venting at the camera. Also, yeah, keep on reading, keep on. Let's keep talking, and let's keep dissecting the work. Yeah. Y'all have a great day. If you haven't read it, again, check out my description box. It is a free opportunity for you there. Also, I do have Class Pass there. If you are trying to get fit for the new year, then you will enjoy that link because it's going to give you about 10 classes you can go to around your city or any city, to check out a gym and check out a class. I got to enjoy things like Pilates, from using that, and discovered new loves in fitness that I might not have discovered because it's much cheaper. I know a Pilates class is about $40, but on ClassPass you can get it for like $3. So check that out. And then also, if you got natural hair, girl, and you've followed me for a while, you've seen my hair go from to something a little more manageable, and that's because I've been using Sunny and Dimby. Her products are now available for 20% off using my discount code in the description box. I think I've said everything, and I've done this 3 times now, so your girl is tired. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Keep on reading, and I'll see you next time.